Alright, I'm Jordan Robbins, and today we're going to talk a little bit about demand and what causes a shift in demand. Right? So the demand curve, as we see, is downward sloping. And so a shift in demand means that at any given price, consumers are willing to either buy more or less of that good. So a decrease in demand, we represent on the graph by a shift to the left, like this. So this means at any given price, such as this price here, the demanders are all of a sudden willing to consume less, this amount right here. And so conversely, a shift to the right represents an increase in demand. And so there's 5 main things that will cause one of these shifts, either an increase or decrease in demand. The first thing is going to be a change in consumer income. Now there are 2 kinds of goods. We have normal goods and inferior goods. When consumers' income increases, that means if it's a normal good, demand will also increase. Normal goods are most goods we have in the economy, right? Cars, housing, anything. The more money people have, there'll be an increase in demand, which we show at this graph here. The other type of good is an inferior good, which means that if income increases, demand for that good decreases. So examples of inferior goods are goods like top ramen, right? Where the richer you are, the less you want to consume of that good. So if your income increases and it's an inferior good, demand for that good decreases. The next thing is the price of related goods. So there's 2 types of related goods. We have complements and substitutes. So if the demand for a good goes up, or if the price of one good goes up, the demand for its complements will fall, right? So the example here is like peanut butter and jelly. If peanut butter becomes more expensive, the demand for jelly will fall. And the other the other relationship between goods is going to be substitutes. So the example of substitutes are Coke and Pepsi, right? If the demand or if the price of a substitute goes up, demand for a substitute will also go up. So price and demand for substitutes move in the same direction. So if the price of Coke all of a sudden becomes more expensive, people will buy or will increase their demand for Pepsi, right? So that's the price of related goods. The third thing that will change demand is an increase in the number of buyers, right? So obviously, if there's more demanders in a market, the market demand will increase. And if there's less demanders in a market, the market demand will decrease. The fourth thing is tastes or preferences, right? So sometimes, there might be some new fad, and just because of overall changes in taste and preferences, things change. This happens a lot of times when there might be some new scientific experiment or some new study that comes out and endorses or condemns a product. That will affect people's tastes and preferences for that product. And the last thing that affects demand is going to be expectations about the future. We have expectations about future prices or expectations about future income, right? So these expectations can affect our consumer demand. So if I expect prices of a good to be lower tomorrow, that means I'm going to demand less today because in the future I'll be able to buy it for a lower price. So that concludes our discussion on the 5 different determinants of demand. How's that?
Good.
A little more concise, a little quicker.